Habil and Qabil were being tested by Allah the same way that you're being tested today. Allah would ask them to bring the best of their livestock and harvest. Habil was a shepherd and Qabil was a farmer. And Habil brings his healthiest and meatiest sheep, offering the best that he had to Allah Azza wa Jal. Well, Qabil brings him the minimum, the withered wheat, the worst of the harvest, and he has no intention whatsoever of pleasing Allah and giving the best to him. Allah only accepts Habil's offering. And obviously this makes Qabil very, very angry, very jealous, and he has no right and no understanding to heal his brother, but that's not the point of the story. Every day you are making an offering to Allah Azza wa Jal. Every day you are making an offering to Allah Azza wa Jal. For him to accept you into Jannat al-Firdaus and for him to accept you in Jannah in general, but also to increase you in your rizq, sustenance, wealth, health, and abundance and peace of mind. A lot of the time what you're bringing forward is not being accepted. And to do this, to have it accepted, you must understand this Islamic principle. The same principle that Habil understood.
وَاتْلُ عَلَيْهِمْ نَبَأَ ابْنَيْ آدَمَ بِالْحَقِّ إِذْ قَرَّبَا قُرْبَانًا فَتُقُبِّلَ مِنْ أَحَدِهِمَا وَلَمْ يُتَقَبَّلْ مِنَ الْآخَرِ قَالَ لَأَقْتُلَنَّكَ قَالَ إِنَّمَا يَتَقَبَّلُ اللَّهُ مِنَ الْمُتَّقِينَ.
You must sacrifice the lower to the higher. And I remember hearing this for the first time and my mind was absolutely blown because it all sunk in with me. It all made sense. I have to sacrifice the lower to the higher, and every step I took forward, every step I took sacrificing the lower thing, sacrificing the dunya for the akhirah, the closer I got to the desired outcome of the akhirah. And every step I took moving forward, as you can see, this is in Yaqub's dream, right? Supposedly had a dream in regards to having this spiral into Jannah. You have to understand that if you want to move up, it's not about taking the step forward. It's about eliminating the step behind you. It's about letting go of the thing to attach yourself to the next thing up. It's about sacrificing the lower behavior to the higher behavior. For every step you take away from this dunya, you get close to Jannah. For every sinful desire you let go of, for the sake of Allah, you get closer to Him. The same goes when you are building the best version of yourself. Sacrificing the chocolate bar for the six-pack, sacrificing comfort for growth, sacrificing your ego for the outcome, lust for love, comfort for growth, laziness for productivity. Everything works in a hierarchy, and you actively have the choice every single day on what you work on and what you end up moving forward upon. You have to rank your desires, Habibi. Know what you are aiming for. I remember reading a book written by Elsie Lincoln Benedict, I believe her name is, and she described it amazingly. It's that every single desire you have will exist, but whether or not you realize it, you create the hierarchy in which they exist. You decide whether your lust comes above the love that you have, or whether the fear comes above the love that you have for Allah, and everything in between. You decide whether or not you're doing this for the Lamborghini, or you're doing this to help your family and to save the Ummah. You have to understand that you're either doing this for the status, to give yourself the ego boost, or you're doing this for a higher purpose. Each one of those desires exists. None of them are good, none of them are bad. But you have to sacrifice the lower to the higher. But how do we do that? You first have to understand which one is the lower desire and which one is the higher desire. The lower desires can often be understood this way. They are the ones that tether you to this dunya. They are the ones that serve no higher purpose in the first place. And the ones that are higher desires are the ones that are the opposite to this. The ones that do serve a higher purpose. The one that tether you back to the akhirah rather than to the dunya. To do this, you have to resist and fight. Fight upwards. Fight the old you. Fight for the new you. Fight for the man you want to become. Because at the end of the day, there's going to be a battle between two people. The old you and the new you. And you get to decide who wins. Do you decide that the future you wins or the current you wins? Because the current you serves no one. He serves himself and that's it. The future you, inshallah, if that's who you want to be, serves other people. He serves Allah Azza wa Jal first. If your life was so good, if your personality, if the person that you were was so perfect, you would have the perfect life. You have to stop trusting yourself. You have to realize that you are the problem. It's just you. You are the problem in this equation. And you have to fight yourself every single day. When people say it's you versus you, they don't mean it's you versus current you. It's you versus future you. And you get to decide who wins. Every single day that battle is being fought with many actions that get to be taken, many decisions. It's you who gets to decide. It's completely up to you. Nobody else is going to save you. Nobody. In fact, understand this, akhi. Every single time you rank your desires and then you resist and fight upwards, you only have one thing left to do, which is to serve a higher purpose. realized that everything is an act of worship, as Habil realized himself. He realized by bringing forward the best intentions, by bringing forward what pleases Allah the most, it was an act of worship. He wasn't doing salat, but what did he do? He brought forward the best that he had. And what did Qabil do? The complete opposite. Qabil thought that the act of worship would only be to listen to his father Adam alayhi salam. It would be only to worship Allah Azza wa Jal in the acts of worship. But he forgot that every single thing that you do is an act of worship. In fact, Allah loves those who work hard. They are His friends. And His enemies are the lazy ones. What does this mean for us, akhi? It means that for us, working hard is an act of worship. And you please Allah Azza wa Jal by working hard, by being committed towards your goals. And every single day, the more you sacrifice that lazy feeling of comfort to the higher purpose of sacrificing yourself, sacrificing your well-being temporarily towards a bigger goal. And I don't say this in the way of you having to sacrifice sleep or you having to sacrifice your loved ones, but if they are tethering you to something negative, you do have to sacrifice them. When you sacrifice the lower to the higher, Allah makes a path for you, keeping you on the straight and narrow, but He makes a path for you that becomes easy. For inna ma'al usri yusra, the hardship itself might be letting go of these things. But what comes the ease next? The ease is the one that comes from Allah. Allah is the one who creates the ease. You don't create nothing, akhi. So understand this. Every single day, you are having to resist and fight upwards. You are trying to serve a higher purpose. The more you align yourself with Allah Azza wa Jal, the easier things become. For you to truly manifest the life that you want, Habibi, do you think you have to read a little note paper every single day? Do you think you have to have a vision board? To manifest the life that you want, it's about your behaviors. It's about worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal. It's about getting closer to Him in the best ways, in the most ways possible. And for you to do that, you have to sacrifice those lower sins. You have to sacrifice those sins for good deeds, for better behaviors. I know that's a struggle for me sometimes. But you have to sacrifice these lower things, the higher things. And alhamdulillah, by doing that, I promise you now, you will find your life transforms itself. People will tell you, mashallah, you manifested it, akhi. Well, I don't know anyone who would say that, but still. you might have people who say that. It's not manifestation. It's qadr Allah. And qadr Allah, it can change with dua. But I think for you to prove yourself to Allah like Habil did, and he got blessings from Allah Azza wa Jal, you have to work hard. If you want to manifest the life that you want to live, you have to sacrifice the lower to the higher. Assalamu alaikum.